Hey everyone, welcome back to Bear's Workshop. We are back for our 125th flyover of the Lucid factory in Casa Grande, Arizona. So I want to welcome you guys back. I see we got a couple people on. We normally don't do this on the weekend, and I don't know what kind of turnout we're going to have, but we're looking at 20 people. Little light, and we got about 13 likes. So if you guys can hit that like button, I would appreciate it. It helps spread the word. Algorithm thing. We got a couple comments. Let's see. Nice, waiting for it to start. Weekend edition, how nice, from Lucid Air. Octavio, where have you been? We've missed you. I've been really busy with the Turo stuff. Bought 4 more cars this week and just get a little hectic trying to get them online and ready to be rented out. While we're waiting for people to get in here, just a quick side story about the Turo. This morning I got a message from a renter saying that the car was impounded, and they told me what city it was in, so I called the police department there. They told me to call Border Patrol. I called Border Patrol, and they said that the car was impounded because it was used for human trafficking, smuggling. So I have to go recover that car on Wednesday, which is just something that it's just part of the downside of Turo is you can have things like that happen. I've been told that the car is okay, but it's got to be processed, fingerprinted, and then I will be able to get the car back on Wednesday. So yes, things like that can happen. And if you're interested in Turo, you have to be willing to accept that that might be something you might end up doing. Your cars can be involved in crimes. So it looks like we got 48 people on here now. So let's quickly give everyone a couple more minutes and we'll just recap the stock price for Lucid. Lucid closed the week at $16.24, and it was down 74 cents on Friday, which is about 4.36%. The high was $17.28 and it opened at $17.10. Previous close on Thursday was $16.98, so not a good day. 16 is not a good number for Lucid. We're hoping to see that go much higher, but we have to get production. Speaking of production, we did see a car hauler today, so that's good news, and that's on a Saturday. So we like to see that cars are getting put out there. So let's get over to the video and let's get started on that. And you guys throw out your comments and things like that. KK asked if there's a Nikola video. Yes, there will be one published within the next few hours. So here we are on the north side of the factory. That's the body in white building right here, and they are still making that larger than what they originally stopped at. For whatever reason, they had to stop and they paused, but they are continuing, and the roof decking is getting put on. Over here we can see some of the construction parking, and we can see on a Saturday that we have employees working. These are all employees' cars. That's where they park. Constructions guys are over here and in other places. So right here tells us that maybe there's a little bit more effort going into working on weekends, which is good. They have to have all the materials that they need in order to have people put cars together, and people are there, so that's a good sign. Long Saudi Lucid Bull. Thanks, Bear, for the updates. Hey, no problem. That's what we are here for, so you guys can see what's going on. Let's see. Why Saudis don't help with logistic problems of Lucid. Well, maybe they are, or maybe it's not something that they can help with. Can't really say. And Lucid Air points out that there's quite a few employee cars for a Saturday. And so does Octavio, says the same thing. Yes, there are people working, and there's plenty of construction guys. The construction doesn't seem to stop there. They've always been working on weekends. Lucid has put a rush on pretty much everything from what I've heard. Over here on this side, we can see where they've already put down some asphalt. Obviously, that's the darker material. In those other areas, have the aggregate put down for additional asphalt, which should be coming soon. Though can't tell you when, but it's obviously going to be soon. You don't lay that down until you're ready. And there's Thornton Road, which is the road that used to be outside the front. It is completely gone. There is just nothing left of that. Uh, Joe Max says, do you think the stealth package and the blue bear package are distracting from the goal of making cars? At the very least, they're trying to distract us from the fact that cars are not being produced at the levels that they wanted by putting out what they consider good news. I'm a personal believer in let's just focus on the production right now. They're still trying to keep people excited about Lucid. That's fine right now. I think a lot of investors feel the only thing that is going to excite them is the number of cars made, not the new models that will come out in the future. Mooney says, drove the Lucid Grand Touring on a test ride at Monterey. What a fantastic car. Waiting for mine. Yes, I have driven the Lucid GT also, and I was very, very impressed. Really enjoyed the ride, and I was able to take it out. Thank you, Lucid Air, and do more than just a test drive. And very, very impressive car. As you can see up here on the top, that still needs the rubber membrane. So does this area over here. It's all stacked up. It still needs to be spread out and installed. Lucid Air, should we see Sapphire soon in the parking lot? To be honest with you, I'd be a little upset if we did. That'd be one less car that can be produced. I just don't think it's as important right now in getting cars manufactured. I know they need to make this car and develop it, but hey, I'm all for putting the resources into everything to get the cars produced. Taking a quick zoom into the tunnel. This is the paint tunnel, and this is going to be where they're going to transport cars from one area, from one building to the other building for the paint shop, and that's going to connect to the building at the top of the screen. Joe Mack agrees with me. Make cars. And D-Rock says you'll see Pure before you Sapphire. Yes, but we also saw a Stealth 2 weeks ago. What looked like a Stealth. Can't be 100% sure, but it sure did look like one. We did see one of those. Upgraded my... Oh yeah, Lucid Air did upgrade his Pure to Touring since they gave him the legacy price. I'm going to stick with my Pure, and I'm going to be happy with that. Now over here we can see all the construction materials. This is for the stamping building, and this is the stamping building. Taller building than any other building on the site. Special approval for that. D-Rock says those are all prototypes for events. Yeah, I understand that they are prototypes, and they're just trying to hype things up. So this building is going to be a lot larger than what we are currently looking at. You can see areas in here with the foundation right here for the additional stamping material, the stamping machines. So this building was going to extend this whole area over here, I do believe. And whoa, I didn't even see that earlier. Okay, so over here, it looks like they started talking about expanding the building. They started putting up steel over here, and didn't even see that during the flyover or in the review that we did. But yes, the building's getting larger and larger. Look at that. So it's going to extend all the way out to there. Here we can see some of the cars that have been produced. We're going to zoom in on those. These are the cars that are supposedly not ready to go or could be ready to go, but they're just piling up over there, and once they're done, we think they get their car cover and they get moved to the other side of the parking lot with all the other cars that are covered. We'll see those in a couple minutes. There's a close-up shot of the stamping building, and we're backing out of that. And then we're going to go spin around to the north side very slowly. You can see also at the bottom of the screen, that is where the road was. And you can see that is county vehicles down here. Let's move this out of the way, if I can. This is where the new road will go. It's going to be much wider, and we'll have lanes to turn into the factory safely, and probably a couple of lights. There will probably be a light at the entrances to Lucid so that people can get in and out without dying. So here's our view from the north side. Retention basin down here in the bottom left. Materials stored over here. This is a jig required to get everything the same size, exactly the same. And then they raise it up with the crane and install it. And there's another look at those foundations for the stamping building. And now we're going to zoom in to everyone's favorite part of the video. And we're going to stop it right. Oh, I was so close. I just missed that. All right, notice right here, we do have a car hauler right here. We will take another look at it, but I just want to show you guys car hauler right there. And you can see all the cars that are piling up. These are the ones that look like they're ready to go. And there'll be 6 of them put into the car hauler right here. And that is a completely covered car hauler. So I can't tell you how many are already in there. It could be 0, it could be 6. I think that's what the max is on those types of haulers. And we can see some of the cars in there also have covers on them. Don't know why they're in that parking area. Don't know what their plans are. They don't share them with me. Do you feel the B word will be used if the production numbers don't start increasing? I have serious doubt that the pure production will start Q4 of 22. Linear scale is hard. Well, I agree. I don't think that pure production will start in Q4. I don't think bankruptcy is anywhere close. They have plenty of cash on hand. So I'm not overly concerned with that, though their cash on hand is a little awkward because they've put some of it into investments and we don't know what they are or why they did that. Could just be simply money markets to gather a little bit of interest, but it's over $1 billion. More cars produced and been further along if COVID hadn't been so detrimental. This might have happened in like 2021, 20 or 21, and today the problems would have been rectified. 2023 will be great, in D-Rock's opinion. I hope it will be too. But right now the problem is unknown. We've been told that it's logistics, we've been told that it's quality, and we've been told that it's supplies. Peter said in the last earnings you'll start seeing the logistics improved in 2 months. Flyovers will be more important than to confirm what he said. We will see. Yes, and that is true. The flyovers really will be helping us out. I was watching a flyover of the Giga Berlin factory, and I wasn't paying close attention, but I was glancing over on another screen, and I saw 6 or 8 car haulers just loaded up with Teslas. And that's where we start. When we get to that level where there's always like anywhere from 5 to 10 car haulers getting loaded up, that's when we know production is really moving along. We need to see car haulers always moving in and out. And here we are. There's the construction parking right there, and that's about what we usually see. So there's plenty of people working today on this wonderful Saturday. We just take a spin over in this corner to see what's over there. Sometimes there's people working there, sometimes not. But that is just a retention basin. This is the south end. At the top is the SKD building, which is getting closer and closer. It's probably further ahead than all the other buildings. On this side of the building, we can see all the materials stacked up there with the rubber membrane that will be spread out on the roof. Joe Max says, is Lucid aware of your flyovers? If you have a set day, you come out, they could know this and plan to have cars out to give the impression they're moving forward, not backward. They are very aware of the flyovers. They have sent me letters telling me not to fly over. So they are not friends of Bear's Workshop. They pretended to be for a brief time, and now there is no communication between me and Lucid. But we do not fly actually over the site. Remember, these are all fly around, to be accurate. We fly around the site, not over the site, because they said we can't do it because it's a safety issue, and that we broke several laws, which was not true. Lucid says all the Lucid employees watch Bear. I've been told by a couple people in there that security watches the videos every day to make sure that we didn't violate anything, and I've been told by other people that they have watched the videos and they like them and blah blah blah, but I have not heard from anybody in quite a while, which leads me to believe that they have said to their employees and the construction people, and nobody talks to me. When the construction started, I did get a decent amount of messages from construction employees all telling me, giving me updates and things like that. I have not heard from anybody 6-9 months, if not more. Not a peep, not even a thank you. So I think they've been told to not talk to me. If you ever get a tour of the Lucid factory, you have to sign an NDA. They're very protective of their IP, which is fine. It's their IP. I'm not looking to share it with anybody, but I don't think there's anything that I can share from the outside. Let's see. Kando says, looking nice. They probably just trying to keep everything under the table. Hope they have something big in mind, but the building starts looking more and more official. Yes, it is a very large building, and from ground level, it looks immense from the ground. It looks small from the air, but it's a very large building. And Lucinaire says they're such a tight-lipped place. Sometimes bears only wait to see production updates, and that's true, because even when they gave their earnings report, they really didn't give much information. And Rob says that seems to be smart. Yes and no. I mean, this is kind of more of a grassroots. Let's build Lucid up and see what we can see, and get investors and people excited. That's always a good thing. I tried to work with them, told them that if we ran across anything that was IP related, we do whatever we can to protect it. But they were just not having it. They said it was all about safety, and they fly drones over their factory also. So not sure why their drones are safer. And people fly helicopters and planes and birds and all that type of thing fly over the site. So it's one of those things where it's like, we're not gonna bother with it that much. So they bullied me into not flying over the factory, though it would be much better video if we could. So what do you guys think of the Sapphire? Anybody think that a $250,000 sedan? Anyone here say, if you had the money, would you buy it? If you have the money, will you buy it? I mean, to me, it kind of sucks if people like that color, they just can't get it without doubling the price of the car. So that's kind of lame in a way, because the color could be considered very cool to some people. I'm not saying I like it. I don't hate it, but I just haven't seen it in person. So what do you guys think? If you had the money, would you buy it, or would you just be like, I don't really see the value going from a GT performance to, say, the Sapphire? Lucinaire, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. And he says, nice weekend update. Jomek says blue means no, because Jomek does not like blue cars. Rob says, oh yeah, the old safety runaround. I wish you could fly over. Yeah, that's all it was. And it was, they in the cease and desist letter they told us that we broke 3 laws, which I called the FAA, read it to them exactly, and they said, nope, you're good. So Randy says, rather have a G-Wagon. Yeah, G-Wagons look cool and they look expensive, but I've sat in them. I've never driven one, and I wasn't super impressed. For that price, I would expect to see luxury, like an S series type of luxury, in like a 4-wheel drive. That's what I'd expect for the price that they sell some of the G wagons, the AMG G wagons. A lot of money, over 200 grand. Oh, Joe Max is not true. I have 2 of them. All right, I thought you just didn't want them because they were blue. Sapphire is a flagship and world's fastest sedan. Will help build the brand. 250K is too much. That's 2 Tourings and some. Yeah, it is. The taxes on that are going to be enough to buy a Chevy Bolt. So, just saying. Not that I think most of us here would drive a Chevy Bolt, but I'm just saying. Jordan says the car's too expensive. You can get a Model S Plaid and a Rivian truck for the same price. It's true. And Andromeda says, I like the GTP version. Roger says, yes, it's the future, and when you cannot get a loan for an ICE car, Lucid is a winner. Yes. Dead Prez says negative. I believe that is a negative towards getting a Sapphire. Cadillac Jack says, I like the Cadillac Celestiq hand-built. Now, you might have a little bit of bias because your name is Cadillac Jack, so I think you just like Cadillacs. I'm not sure if I like that Celestiq yet. I definitely don't like it at that price. I don't need a car that's hand-built. So, I don't know. James says, love the car, love the color. Lucid can't seem to get it wrong. Okay, I guess you're okay with that price now. $250,000 for a blue car is fine for Lucid, but do this next year when you get all the Air models produced. Damn straight, I agree with you. Sapphire is a message for Tesla that we can beat you in everything. It can be, but it has to be produced. Plaids are coming off the assembly line by the thousands every month, and Lucid hasn't built 1,000 of any car in a quarter. So it's one thing. It's basically still a prototype. So Ahmed, I appreciate your support, but they've got to start producing cars. The press says not that much. Depeche says I love the color, but I'd never pay that. The Gravity is the model I'm waiting for from Rob. Yeah, I would like to see something on the Gravity. See, now if they put out something on the Gravity, I'd be more interested in that than seeing different versions of the Lucid Air. You got to keep in mind, since they started production, they've come out with the GTP, they've come out with the Stealth mode, which is really just a trim level. There's not much more to it than the looks. And then now we have the Sapphire. But at the same time, we're not delivering cars. Steeler out west says, yes, I love the look of the Sapphire. I'd definitely buy it. And Cadillac Jack says, yeah, I'm right. Pretty biased. It's cheaper than the fastest Ferrari. Is it cheaper than the slowest Ferrari, which is still probably a fast car, but not as fast as the Sapphire, because that is going to be the fastest car. It's going to be interesting when car manufacturers start saying the fastest production ICE car, because at some point we're going to have a lot of EVs being faster than the fastest ICE car. Let's see. A BMW kind of pulled the right move with the Le Mans Blue. D-Rox has smokes a Lambo and way less expensive. Sapphire could be made a sports looking at a car other than a sedan. Well, then it's something completely different. They said that they're going to put the Sapphire on every model car that they have, so that there's a sexy version, a sexy fast version on every car. So the Gravity will eventually have a Sapphire, and then whatever other models they ever come out with will also have a Sapphire version. Jordan says, how much do you think a Lucid Gravity Sapphire would cost? I'm going to go with $250,000. I think they're setting the bar right there. The gravity itself is not going to be less expensive than the pure, so I think a gravity Sapphire will be in the same area. You have a better chance to get the Lucid Sapphire than a Cybertruck. Um, Maybe, I don't know. I I think it might be easier for them to put together a Sapphire than a Cybertruck at this point. Um, there's probably more Cybertruck prototypes than Sapphire prototypes, but I don't know. We'll have to see. But how many Cybertrucks can you buy for one Sapphire? And they're just different vehicles. I mean, they're going to have different uses. Cadillac Jack says, I know Lucid is trying hard to hire for second and third shift. Hope that helps the production numbers. What I don't understand about that, if they're trying to hire for second and third shift, first shift is not able to produce the car, and in high numbers. And if they're saying that it's related to logistics and supply and quality issues, how's production going to be sped up by just hiring more people? It's moving on to getting these problems fixed. That's going to speed up production. Just having more people working at a slow rate is not necessarily going to speed up production. So especially if it's a supply issue and they're missing stuff, more people is not going to make the supplies magically appear. Do they have a Lucid day? Not that I know of. 1/10 of the price of a Bugatti and damn near speed. That's true too. That is true. Though I'll tell you, the Bugattis are quite a masterpiece of car. You know, how are they going to finance this during a depression? Well, it's not necessarily a depression. We're not there. It's a recession. So we're not quite at a depression yet. I'm not sure how they measure depression. I forgot. It's been a while. So we have a recession going on. Yeah, $250,000 is a lot of car. If you have that kind of money to spend on the car, I think you probably always will. Let's see. Are the car haulers Lucid branded? No, not the ones that I've seen. So, which I prefer them not to be, because I prefer them to be hiring anyone that they can who can deliver these cars. And Deep says, I suppose government will bail them like GM. I don't know if the government would actually bail out Lucid. I think the Saudi government or the Saudi PIF might bail out Lucid if it ever came to that. Right now, at this point, I don't believe that that we're close to that. Okay, I don't understand Roger's comment. Buzz Lightyear will be the fastest guy in the world when he builds a Lucid Sapphire. Okay. Lucid Air thinks that they are prepping for expansion. Well, they think that's clear. Have they said what parts are at issue with supply chain? In the past, they have said glass, carpets, and fit and finish. That is part of the problem with the last earnings report, is that they did not specify what the issue was or what it was with. They said it was quality, they said it was logistics, and they said it was supplies, but they never said specifically what it was. And that was a little frustrating as an investor, why that information is not shared. So that's the answer to that. Rimac Nevera is $2.5 million and is currently the fastest EV. Sapphire is faster than it at $250,000 only. That's true. I do like the look of the Rimac Nevera, though. I would never fit in it. Joe Max says, I don't think the government likes American EV startups based on the EV tax. It shows how well they are paid from GM, Ford, etc. Yeah, that is something to be said. I don't know if it's necessary that they don't like the startups, but they're trying. to get these cars more affordable for people who can't afford them. But they're obviously going about it the wrong way, because they're disqualifying so many vehicles that it's not going to help anybody. They could have made the Kia EV6 and the Hyundai Ioniq 5 $7,500 cheaper, but they're not made in the U.S. So those are some of the cheaper EVs. The Bolt is a cheaper EV also, but the Bolt is not in the same class as the Ioniq or the EV6. But now those cars are not available. So I'm not sure how that helped. Depression with mass employment reaches an almost high. Okay. Lucid Air says you can still reserve Sapphire, $25,000 down. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many reservations they get for that car. I think that they're going to cut it off at a low level. They're going to say we're only going to do X amount, because I don't think they're going to get a ton of reservations on that car. Steeler out west, Bear, if you are breaking any laws, why not fly over the factory? Perhaps you've answered this already, but I have never heard your answer. We are not breaking any laws. We have been in contact with the FAA. We have talked to them. They said that we're not breaking any laws, but Lucid did send us a cease and desist over a year ago, telling us not to fly over their property at 317 South Horton Road, Casa Grande, Arizona, whatever the zip code is. So we are in our rights to fly over, but they will bring us to court. I'll have to pay somebody $50,000, spend time in court defending our actions, and I don't have the time or the money to do either one of those things. So now we just do a fly around. And Lucid, do you think it's a car you can flip? Maybe not. I mean, you've got to have the right buyer, and if someone wants a Sapphire, they probably have ordered one. It's a lot of money for a car. It's not going to be an easy flip, and if you lose on that, you could lose big. I'm just going to rewind this real quick. We're probably going to get going soon, but just want to get through some of these comments. IMELT says, Lucid will bring Bear to court. Yep. What I said. Tweet from Alexei Polozov. I work in the area and my company services both Nikola and Lucid. I can't tell you what I do for work, but have been watching these companies with my eyes for the past few years. And I think the rest of it, I have 4 of my former employees that work in Lucid and 1 in Nikola. I get great inside up-to-date information weekly. My source tells me that they are currently have 1,000 to 2,000 ready to ship. The reason they haven't been shipped is exactly what Rollinson said. The quality of some of the little things need to be fixed. First, for example, missing screws, front lights not perfectly aligned, and panels slightly off. If you knew the quality of people in this area, you would get it. The factory they have built up to this point is really their paint factory. See, and that's my thing. If they're having quality issues, it's happening somewhere on the production line. They need to go back to the production line and figure out where that's happening and fix it. I'm sure that they're doing that, but there still seems to be a lot of them. Rob says, am I getting a Cybertruck? I have an order placed February of 2021 for a Cybertruck. Yeah, obviously I'm still waiting. Let's see. Listener said, do you think the tax credit loophole is going to work for Lucid? It's not really a loophole. If that's an actual contract yes, you'll be grandfathered in. That would be if you have a signed a signed contract with Lucid for the car. You will get the $7,500. And I know Lucid Air. I know that he confirmed his order. I confirmed my order. So the problem with EV adoption is no one besides Tesla can produce cars at volume. The EVs out now are so hard to get, you have to pay a big premium over MSRP to get one. Exclude Leaf and Bolt. That's true, and they're going to stop making the Leaf. The Bolt does not have an ADM on it. I was actually at a dealership this week. I mentioned that earlier. The Bolts do not have any type of ADM. I was able to get my Hyundai Ioniq for no markup. I bought it I found a dealer in California. If you do your research and you make enough phone calls, you'll find a dealer that will sell it to you without a markup. I placed the order on an incoming unit. I waited about 4 to 5 weeks before it came in, and then I was able to take delivery of it. So it is possible to get it. You just gotta work harder. But overall, it saved me $4,500. Because everyone around me wanted $5,000 on the ADM. I spent $500 for shipping the car from California. So that's $4,500. That's real money to me. All right. EQS is an ugly car. You know what? The EQS, I saw one on the road yesterday, and not bad driving down the car. It looked a lot better than it does in all these renders and all these pictures you see online. And I did see two of them, a black one and a white one, at the Mercedes dealership about a week and a half ago, and they really look better in person than they do in all these pictures. Just saying, in person it was better. Hediyat says hello. Mehmet says all of them confirmed that in October they are being mandated 6 days a week and up to 12 hours per week. Hang in there. 2023 and 24 could be huge. Lucid, way to go, Bear, confirming order. Deep says, I want a Harley electric motorcycle. So hey, Harley Electric they've got a spin-off call, and it's under Livewire. Any of you guys invested in Livewire? That is a SPAC that's going to be going through in the next couple of weeks, I believe. And I've got shares in that. It's IMPX, currently at like $10 a share. So you guys might want to take a look at that. Yes, additional dealer markup is ADM. And isn't Chevy working on some taxi thing that kind of strange? Forget what it's called. Cruise. Super Cruise. And Super Cruise is not a taxi thing. That is autopilot. Hyundai, Kia are really efficient, second to Tesla. Yeah, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 is a kind of a frustrating car. I've got issues with that car. There's nothing wrong or broken. It's just the way that it was put together. And it's definitely not as enjoyable as other electric cars. First thing I would get rid of is the on-off button, because it's completely unnecessary. And you can't charge, or you can't lock the car if you leave the car on. And the door handles stick out, so when the car is unlocked, everybody knows that the car is unlocked. All you gotta do is look at it. You have to pull the door handle, which makes you susceptible to thieves. Rob asked, do I currently have solar or Powerwall to charge your EVs? I do have solar. I have, I think, 12.9 kilowatt solar on my roof, and I have a 9.6 kilowatt LG battery, which is non-functional because it exploded. The bottom of it popped out due to heat issues, and I'm waiting for LG to replace it under a recall/warranty. But I've been waiting 2 years, so I don't really think that that's happening anytime soon. Jordan asks, off topic, but did you see a Toyota exec said there was no demand for EVs a couple of days ago? Yes, I did see that. That is just BS. I don't know why he said that. Doesn't understand. The people above him should be looking. Toyota's anti-EV for some reason, and the one that they've made has been recalled because it randomly shuts off. Randy says he did take an ID4 for a spin yesterday. Not bad. What is the little building next to the stamping building? I think that's going to be an extension, part of the stamping building. I think they're just extending that out, but I haven't looked at the plans in a little bit, so I'm going to take another look at that, but not right now, and figure out if that's going to be part of the same building. Could it be the new logistics? Well, they better get moving on that. Lucinaire says his guess is that the tent is logistics. I heard that the tent was supposed to be a break area for employees, but I'm not buying that. That doesn't seem to make sense. Rob wants to know if I have any experience with Polestar EVs. They seem to be improving based on what I'm reading. I have a Polestar too, so the answer is yes. I got some experience with it. Polestar went more minimalistic than Tesla did, if that's possible. I like the car. I haven't had any problems like charging it. Where I have with the Ionic, I have to fight with the Ionic every time I plug it into a home charger. And with the Polestar, every time I plug it in, it's like, oh, thank you for the electricity, and we'll start charging. The Polestar is very minimal as far as the screen. I didn't get it loaded and decked out, but it's kind of just like a black and white screen with some orange in it, and there's not really that much to it. There's not a lot of features. Where the Hyundai is the reverse of that. There is so many features that you would have to read the 500-page manual to figure everything out. There's things in there that just need explanations, and they're not easy to find. And there's just too much stuff. In the Polestar, you could flip through every screen and be done in 10 minutes. With the Hyundai, it would take you hours, and then you still won't understand stuff. So the Polestar is kind of lacking on some things, and the Hyundai went overboard. But the Polestar is a decent car. We've got the dual motor. I like it. I don't love it. It's got only 250 miles of range. I don't think that's enough range for a car. So I also am not a big fan of the materials that were used. There is one cup holder in the Polestar, but no, there's two cup holders. But it's kind of hard to explain. You have to open the lid on the center console. So you open it up, and there's another cup holder there. So you have to have that open, place where you put your elbow, in order to get access to the second cup holder. Okay, fine, but it's still got one cup holder, right? Yes and no. So it's got one cup holder, and you're going to have to pull your arm back and reach down every time you want to get to that cup holder. But the console where your elbow sits, they made it adjustable, but it doesn't lock in. So as you're driving, if you brake a little sharp, just a little sharp, that console slides forward and goes right into the cup or can or bottle or whatever you have in there. If you have a paper cup or a plastic one, it could actually squish it as you're driving. So lack of cup holders. They've got the piano style material on the center console, which is really beautiful, but it just attracts dust. Speaking of attracting dust, the screen, you can literally wipe it clean and just literally watch the dust come back to it. It's like it's not grounded properly, and it attracts dust. There's a couple other things, but overall the car itself is good. It drives well. I will say that. Cadillac Jack has an EV, a Bolt, and is still waiting on the battery replacement. I can only charge 80%. Yeah, and don't you have to like charge it 50 feet from your house? Dead Press says, smash that like button. Toyota have invested in hybrid tech and or billions in debt. Yeah, they're all billions in debt. But yeah, Toyota still thinks that people want hybrids. Toyota invested a lot of money to hybrid engine, and they are the leaders, so they want to hold on to that as long as possible, trying to delay EV market. They have, if you listen to what the CEO has said, he really is definitely trying to delay the adoption of EVs. Why didn't Lucid include the 50K optional plus optional 50K reservation from Saudi into their last earnings report? Because it's really not earnings, because it's refundable, maybe. Lucid are simple design. Lucid blowing these guys out of the water. So it only makes 5% on every vehicle unit they make. Yeah, their margins are low. But but it's better than negative, and that's where Lucid is right now. They are startups, but that's to be expected. Nikola's in the same boat. Now Tesla's doing 25 to 30% margins on their cars, and that's where I know that Lucid and all the others would like to be. We are getting at 45 minutes here. So if you guys got anything else that you want to add in, let's throw it in the comments now. Okay, because we're gonna be wrapping this up like right away. We've gone through the video, I think, 3 times now. So our next video, we're going to have a Nikola one out in a couple hours for today's flyover. Then we are going to be back probably on Tuesday with a Nikola and Lucid flyover. And also we'll be doing a live stream with Brian from My Tesla Weekend. So if you guys could make it, we would appreciate it. And we talk about all things EV. We'll talk about Lucid if there's news. We'll talk about Nikola if there's news, and GM and Tesla and all of them. And we always find some odd, strange stories also. All right, I want to thank everyone for joining us. I appreciate you being here. So at this point, we're going to say bye-bye for now, and we're going to see ya